I think we have still a lot of things to solve, but I think this meeting has been helpful in that regard.
We're really excited about the rising attention that intergenerational equity is having. It was mentioned by a lot, including the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. The concept of equity in the Post-2020 framework is broadening.
As a group of networks representing our local and sub-national government constituency, we worked very well together. We had meetings every morning. The exciting thing is that we found that we were coming from the same common shared platform.
At this point I would say that it was a good step, but we really have to ensure that what we want to see in the framework and it really stays there.
I'm a bit disappointed of some member states' positions. I think the principle of non-regression of the Aichi biodiversity target and the strategic plan needs to be something, the ambition level needs to be higher.
We are still sitting on business as usual. We are still repeating the same things we know end up resulting in non-achievement of the targets that we set ourselves for as parties.
I think it's a good opportunity for the environment sector to interact with the agriculture sector. Our food depends on biodiversity and our existence depends on food.
This has been a fascinating process, and I'm really happy to see that there is broad recognition in the room from all parties that to make the successful implementation of the Post-2020 biodiversity framework a success, we need strong political will and ambition and direction.
They raised a lot of issues and they identified a lot of very important elements for the Post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework.
Another really exciting thing was that we were seeing the interventions made by CBD parties on the role and contribution of local and sub-national governments in the new Global Biodiversity Framework.
There are some elements that are not currently that well developed, especially the one on sustainable use. Even though we're pleased that it is there, but it still needs further clarification and elements that take into account the perspective of the productive sectors.
The same discussions that we had 10 years ago in Nagoya are coming up again, so this is a bit concerning.
That we have concrete actions and commitments by parties. And we also would like to see that the political message from and to Kunming is really ambitious and good and clear.
Finding this balance between conserving the biodiversity and maintaining the customary use practices are some of the very key elements that I want to see in the post-2020 biodiversity framework.
There should be some sort of compromise between the parties.
The real challenge is to translate this into concrete action on the ground.
Business is already starting to respond to this global call for action, and they're critically trying to reassess how they're impacting biodiversity and what they can do and how can they change their management decisions to reduce their negative impacts on biodiversity and improve their positive impacts on biodiversity.
As far as the next steps are concerned, there's a lot of work that lies ahead, but I think that in the lead up to Open-Ended Working Group 2 and also at Open-Ended Working Group 2, we've set a good basis or good foundation.
We need to make sure that those committees are creating an important platform to create space for action.
The main worrying aspect of the discussion says that there are still parties who are seeing this as an exclusively CBD process. But that is contrary to what the COP decided.
You can have the best biodiversity framework, but if you don't have the means of implementation, then this will not be implemented and we would be losing our time.
And now seemingly in China we'll be still stuck with the same debate of here's the framework, where are the means of implementation?
We have a good feeling when it comes to use intergenerational equity, but now we have to see how this can be implemented on the ground and how we can really operationalize this concept. But I'm glad that there is so much support.